think we're live. Are we live? Is this thing on? Holy cow. All right, let's see if we can't get everything back together. Well, of course, you know, if, what is this thing? Okay, no, that's fine. I'm trying to do something that I've never done before. No, Tom is in the list. I'm in the list? Michael Graves, you fibber fox. Okay, let's see what the chat says, because I haven't been paying any attention to you guys. Andrew, you didn't miss the show. Region of interest is this. This is a region of interest. TV Todd said he got his vMix mouse pad the other day. Good. Glad to have it. Hassan is here. Scott is here, but the gang isn't all here, he says. Have enough for a quorum. Rod is here. Clint is here, and we are live indeed. Rudy's here. Martin K. Hello, Martin. Mike from Texas. Clint. Kenny. Hey, Kenny. Well, let's have a show of hands. Those of you that have made your reservations or have made your intention to go to NAB. That's me. I only got my plane and hotel last night after bugging you guys about it for weeks and weeks. And let's see. Today's show is going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting because, yeah, well, you know how it is when you say, okay, this project is going to take this long to accomplish. And then something strange happens, like a cable isn't long enough. Or, oh, sorry about that. We're trying to use this mic thing. Yeah, I need to start using a wireless when I'm here at the desk. I'm using the Audio Technica AIDA UHD-100. Let me make sure I've got it turned up all the way. I think that's max there. There we go. And I'll boost the gain a little bit on this one. And make sure that we don't have any compression on that's killing it. Yeah, there we go. Hopefully that's better. And I'm a little soft-spoken today because, frankly, I've got egg all over my face because I'm trying to do something I've never done before, and I didn't allow enough time to get screwed up. Johnny Cash is here. Welcome, Johnny. It's an honor to have you with us today. Daniel Wright's here. Howdy. Glad to have you. Dan from PI Engineering is here. Hi, Dan. My apologies to Maggie for screwing up my POs, but that's par for the course. Really excited about one of the projects. I just ordered a T-bar for a school that we're working with here. We're building a studio for them, and really interested in that. We'll do a case study on it as we get closer. But we're going to go the traditional route with the traditional T-bar control surface, and with a couple extra funds. So that's going to be fun. So anyway, still low. Okay, let's try this. Sorry about that, Kenny. Yep, the other mic on the other side of the room is going to do much better. And it's, it's one of those things when your showtime is gone and it's come and you're half baked. I don't mean it in this way. I mean, you're just not fully prepared. But Kenny, thank you for the update. Yeah, I don't want to. The last thing I would want is for you guys not to hear me. No. It's not only low, but expanded gated to make the quiet bit even quieter. Maybe turn the gate off. Oh, you know what? I wonder if. Yeah, I've been playing with that plug-in, that NS1 plug-in, and I've got it really high. So let's bring it down a little bit. And let's turn the phone off so that that doesn't interrupt us. So this is the NS1 plug-in from Waves on 50%. Maybe that'll be better. cam resolution is low. Yeah, I'm not sure what this is. A Logitech C920 that I just threw up here. It's just don't pay any attention to the pre-show. Hopefully the show will make it worthwhile. So we'll see. Hopefully that's I think the delay, depending on what stream you're watching, is about maybe 20 seconds. I should have checked it. I know at one point in YouTube we were going for the low latency, which I think was about maybe 10 to 15 seconds, but we were having some trouble with that stream. And so we went to the no latency, which I think is about 30 seconds. All right, Dan says better already on the audio. Okay, well, good. Well, we'll probably ought to check the other one too, because I was playing around with that one. And yeah, there's the, hang on a second. Yeah, that one's at 100%. Let's bring that one back to 50 and just use that and see if we can't get away with that today. Scott says it's legal in Michigan now to get half-baked. That's scary. That's scary. Martin says it sounds a bit more natural in terms of the audio dynamics. Thank you, Martin. I always appreciate your comments. Scott says, glad to hear you're taking advantage. That's Dan saying that. Okay. If you're wondering, if you're watching, you're wondering, where is he reading these comments? You got to come to the chat room. Right now, we're using an independent chat. If you go down here to easternshorebroadcasting.com, you can watch the stream and see the chat. So we've got a bunch of people in chat right now and a bunch of people that are not in chat. So come on over and see the chat at easternshorebroadcasting.com. Click the Watch Live tab, and that'll get you there. Chris is here. Welcome, Chris. And David is here. David, I didn't see you slip in. Glad you're here. Jerry's here. Hey, Jerry. And let's see who else has slipped in when I wasn't watching. That's it. Okay, let's see. Will this do what it's supposed to do? It didn't. Let's just see. Reload page. Bear with me just a second. And there we go. That's what we were looking for. And then we've got a shortcut out there that's not doing its little shortcut duty. So let's find it. I love the find button with the shortcuts. Bear with me, guys, just a minute. Okay, this is number 65. 65, browser reload, number 8. Oh, that's why. Okay, well, let's go ahead and fix that. It's really number 15. 15, there we go. And then preview input, number 15. There we go. Wish you could put shortcuts in some sort, sort them in an order, maybe by input or by function or by key number. That would make it a lot easier to do. Let's see if this works now. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right. Very good, very good, very good. Dan is going out to, never mind. It's after 9 now, says Chris. What's the official start time? Well, the official start time was 10 minutes ago. And just pay no attention to Dan and Scott. They're misbehaving once again. Gee whiz. Okay. Let's do one or two more things here. And we are going to be ready to go. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. And we'll just have to, we're just going to fake it. Some of you are saying, what's new? Andres is here. Very good. Welcome, little lemonade. All right. Well, we're going to wing this one, and we're going to see what happens. So let's get the intro going, and I'll meet you on the set in a sec. Let's see if this works. Let's try that again. Welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair. This is Streaming Idiots. You have come to the right place. I haven't tested this audio since I moved it. Oh, golly. New studio here, and still trying to get used to it and get things set up and making lots of changes, trying to find the sweet spot of various things. And one of the things that I thought we would play with today that's going to be a lot of fun is a 4K camera. Eric Pratt at U.S. Broadcast Distribution represents a company called AIDA, A-I-D-A, AIDA Imaging, and they have a sub 1000 4K camera. Now it's fixed focus, and I think some of you may have seen the show a couple of weeks ago where we played with it a little bit. And that has come back, had jumped right back up to the top of my list of things to play with, because of the announcement by vMix that they were incorporating a virtual PTZ control into vMix 22. And what that means, of course, is that you can use that to control a 4K camera with various regions of interest, and move a joystick to those regions of interest as if it were a PTZ camera. Obviously, it's not going to do a 360 because you don't have a 360 lens. Although, don't believe me on that one. That somebody's going to prove me wrong on that one. So we've got this AIDA. This is the UHD-100, and I thought I would bring it up. Let's see if I can bring up the main shot for that. Is that this shot right here? Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Let's see if we can bring that shot in. Yeah, that's the AIDA camera. It's got a very wide angle lens on it, so it's rounded in the front. What I think we call a fisheye, and so it will extend from, golly, 4 feet, 5 feet to my right and 4 or 5 feet to my left. I'll show you. In fact, let me see if I can't show you the shot that is the full width shot. And that's going to be this one right here. And let's just move to that one. Yeah, that's the full width of the camera. And you can see the fisheye effect now as we've zoomed back a little bit. But the beauty is, let's see if we can put this one back up. This is the shot before the chroma key. And I've actually got that camera positioned in front of me. Oh, what's that? Maybe 4 feet. So this camera's about 4.5 feet away from me. The PTZ cam, this cam, is positioned, I'd say 6 feet away from me. So there's, maybe a foot or 18 inches difference between the PTZ 12X that is slightly higher, as you can tell from the shot, and again, a little bit further away as compared to the AIDA UHD-100, which is about 4.5 feet away and right at about this height. I would have liked it a little higher. In fact, let's move back to that shot. Can we do that? Let's see. We'll move to that shot. There we go. And you can see that if I look in my normal spot, which is at the PTZ cam, I'm looking over the camera, and so now focusing on the camera. So we've got some shots set up. And let me go ahead and move into, this is the full camera shot. And then I've picked 4 regions, and very simply, just 4 regions of interest, my top right, my top left, my bottom left, and my bottom right. So basically I've divided the screen up into quadrants. Each quadrant is a half of the 4K. And so really, I mean, in vMix, it means that I've done a 2x zoom. And a 2x zoom takes a 4K image and makes it a 1080 image. Rough numbers, you know, there may be off by, you know, some pixels here or there. But rough numbers, you can get, well, let me just show you. Let's see, where is that shot? That's going to be number 3. And so we'll go ahead and get a little zoom in. That's, again, that's all digital. And so now we've got a 1080p picture, excuse me, a 1080p image. Where is that guy right there? Yeah, there we go, because the ladder's in the side of it. That's 1080p right there. Right there. So we're going to go to, let's see, let's go to number 4. And we'll take the same thing and move it back there. Now it moves as if it were a, yeah, there we go. It moves as if it were a really fast PTZ, and that's using the merge function in vMix right now. And so I'm basically just merging from one vMix input. I took the main camera input and I created virtual inputs from it. So I've got, I don't know, 5 or 6 virtual inputs. Well, at least 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then probably 2 others. One of them being this one right here, which is a virtual input of the one that I started out with just a minute ago. Wherever it is, I don't think I can see. Is that? Yeah, I've lost it. Anyway, I'll go find it in just a minute. Let's go for another. We'll do number 6, and that's just a merge. And we can slow the merge speed down in vMix. Yeah, there you are. We can slow the merge speed down so that we've got a slower, more usable. Where is number 5? Let's go back to number 5. There we go. A slower, more usable speed that looks more like a manually operated camera because it's moving slower and more smoothly. In playing with that, when I first started out just a few minutes ago, probably, how long has it taken me to set this up? Probably it's taken me about 50 minutes from the time I decided, okay, it's time to set all this stuff up for the show, to set the camera up and find a cable that was, number 1, long enough, and number 2, would carry a 4K signal, because apparently some HDMI cables I have or came over with Noah on the ARC and won't carry a 4K signal, so I had to rearrange things. Fortunately, the cable that I was using for my big monitor right here in front of me was a big fat one. And I thought, okay, well, if it's fat, it must be able to carry 4K, and it does and did. So I swapped it out with another. But you know, that's just the kinds of things that you go with. Actually, this camera, the AIDA 4K, is connected via HDMI to a Blackmagic Decklink mini recorder card, Decklink mini recorder 4K card, and we're using the HDMI input on that card, and that card is sitting in it's sitting in a PC that I'm building for a client with an i7 8700K CPU in it. That's just, you know, this is one of these, it's one of these 6-core machines, and I mean 6-core processors. And it's cruising along with this 4K. Now the 4K camera is the only input on it, but it's cruising at about 3% right now with vMix, and so it's an NDI input from the workbench PC to my main PC, coming in as a 4K image. I need to check. I'll do this in post show. I'll check and see what the bandwidth is on this camera on the network. Because I want to I want you to know what that is and see how that affects, what is 4K going to represent in terms of bandwidth over NDI. We know 1080p is going to represent anywhere from 100 to 120, 130 megabits per second. So if you've got a gigabit network, you're going to get 7 HD full NDI, not NDI HX. That's a different creature altogether. NDI HX is going to be about 10% of the full NDI signal. We're dealing with full NDI here, so we've probably got somewhere between. Well, let's see if it's 4 times the amount of data or just twice the amount of data. 4 times the amount of data. Yeah, 4 times the amount of data. So instead of say 120, it's 480. So it's only almost half of my gigabit network. And I'll confirm this in post-show, but about half of my gigabit network is taken up with this single camera cruising across the network NDI to my production PC. Now, the production PC, unlike the system that I'm building for a client, production PC is mine, and I'm always trying off-the-shelf cheap stuff, because I want you to, if you're thinking about building things yourselves, know what you can get away with. If I build it for you, and I've got some quotes that I owe people like Brad, sorry about that. Rest assured, you're going to get the best, fastest, greatest, latest stuff that is available, the newest technology. But for those of you that are DIYers, and I'm going to be doing a DIY build in a series of videos probably after the first of the year. I'll have more information for you later on that. But if you're doing it yourself and you're on a really restricted budget, then there are ways that you can use old technology and it works. For example, where I was going with all this today was that the i7 8700K CPU that's in the machine I'm building is sending this, let's just call it 500 megabit per second video over my gigabit network to my production PC, which is an i7 2600K. So it's a second generation as compared to the current 8th or 9th generation PC stuff. Overclocked to 4 gigahertz, and it's cruising along at about 55% right now with about 80 inputs in vMix. So vMix is really vMix is the sweet spot for video production. Really is. It'll do big, fancy, hard, fast stuff, and it'll take underpowered PCs and make them. I remember, boy, in the bad old days, struggling with VidBlaster to get full standard resolution. To get 640 by 480 and not crush the PC. And here I can get HD resolution on my 6-year-old laptop with vMix with less than 50% CPU. We're in the golden age, folks. We're in the age where this is the age where we've always been promised we would be in, so far as hardware is concerned, and it's tremendously exciting. Okay, let's go back. I spent so much time setting this thing up. I got to go back to it. So let's take out the background, and we'll go back to the full shot, and we'll do it again. This is the full shot. You can see the fisheye effect. And basically, I've taken 4 regions of interest, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've made them their own. Let's see, where's one? There we go. And so now we're just, I am essentially transitioning from, where is this thing? Oh, yeah, there we are. There you go. I'm essentially transitioning with my PTZ Optics. PTZ Optics? No. It's PI Engineering. X keys. It says it right on the back. Whoops, there we go. And it also apparently will do things all by itself if you let it. So we'll transition back to that one. And then we'll go to this other one. Basically what I'm doing is I'm just pressing a key here to, oh, that is cool. You guys can't see this, but I wish you could see it, because I've got a multi-view. Oh man, I wish I had a camera I could show you. Oh, this is amazing. Oh my gosh. I wish you were here to see this. I've got the input number 3, which is this top left quadrant for me, top right for you. That's in output. And then I'm previewing input number 4, which is the other one over there. And when I move between them, it's like there's just a giant wide panoramic shot. Oh, this is huge. This is huge. So if I do it backwards like this, now it doesn't work. Now it's opposite. Okay, well, I'll have to do a little quick camera video. I mean, a phone video on that one or something like that. That was too fun. Too fun. Okay, let's see. We go to 6, and that'll take us down there, and we'll go to 7, and that'll take us over there, and then we'll go to 2, and that'll take us back there, and then we'll go to and see, unlike a PTZ camera, unlike my PTZ Optics 12X, which I dearly love, if I had different virtual shots or different inputs that had presets for the camera, I would only be able to see a static image in any input that wasn't being used, that wasn't my live shot or my preview shot. But here with this camera, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inputs available to me, because I'm looking at the multi-view in vMix right now. I've got 8, and they're all, it doesn't take much to entertain Tom, that's true. And they're all live, and I can see exactly what's going on in each one. Oh, that is too good, too good. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I can show you guys this. I'll just have to do a little static, a little video after the fact. Maybe we'll do it in post-show or something like that. Anyway, yeah, there's just no way for me to show it to you and use it at the same time. My brain can't wrap around that. But my brain can wrap around how cool it is to be able to do this. It just is awesome. Let's see, let's go back to the keyed shot. This is that same shot, and I've just keyed out the green in the background. This camera keys beautifully. And as you can tell, my green screen is, you guys have been fussing at me about this. My green screen is not perfect. Lots of shadows, all those wrinkles. And fortunately I've got a background that's got some movement in it. So yeah, I still don't see any wrinkles or shadows there. But I suspect, if I looked at it close enough, I might see some. I think, here's where I'm going with all this. I'm thinking that the 4K cam is going to be an interesting cam for those of you that are doing events, maybe even church, doing a multi-person studio shot where you've got, probably not people facing each other, but people that are side by side or slightly together, where you're going to be able to, and if I had a couple guys in the studio last night talking about this. They want to do some sports shows, and I was just talking about the camera because I was excited about it, and they were like, you mean you can use one camera and get a headshot of me, and use the same camera and get a headshot of him, and use the same camera and get a shot of both of us in the same camera? I was like, yes, exactly. Now, I probably couldn't do it with this particular lens because of the fisheye effect of it. Although this particular shot doesn't look too bad. This shot right here shows, if I were trying to use this as a wide shot, I don't think it would be usable, because you can see the curvature of the edge of the green screen. That's basically the curvature in the lens. And again, you're seeing this chair which is probably 5 feet away from me. And then the corner of the ladder over there that is another, well, it's slightly behind me, so it's even further away. That one's probably 6 feet away. So it's an amazing width, but the sacrifice is the fisheye. Now that we're talking about this fisheye thing, here's the other part of it. Was talking with Eric Pratt, because he represents AIDA, the camera manufacturers, and he said that he thinks that he can flatten that out. And I was like, okay, well, I know if we get a different lens, we can flatten it out. And he said, yeah, and it's apparently it will take either a C or a CS mount lens. So it's not a big lens. And I looked at them on, I think B&H Photo, and I was seeing lenses that ranged in price from $50 to, $1,000, probably more. So there's probably a sweet spot lens in there that will flatten out this picture. It may not give us quite a wide a shot, but again, this camera is only, I can reach out, lean forward, and I'm touching it right there. So it's not like I couldn't move the camera back up a bit in order to get a little wider shot. But Eric said, going back to this, that he thinks that in software he can flatten out the image, and it's something called, and forgive me if I get the terminology wrong, something to do with UV mapping. Is it UV? Have I got the right initials there? And that it can be done in a vMix virtual set. So this fisheye lens could be, he said you'd have to sacrifice a little bit of resolution as you bend these lines. If you were to imagine that this line was suddenly straight, that would mean that some of the resolution right up there in the top of the screen would have to go off the screen. You wouldn't be able to see that corner of the brick wall over there because it would have gotten pushed out. So you would have lost some of your resolution, probably just at the corners, but maybe not as much to really make any noticeable difference. Now this is a pretty close shot. I'm interested to see what something like this will do at Tommy says it's flat earth mapping. I'll be interested to see what a camera like this will do at any distance. Will it work in a church environment? Will it work in an event environment? And probably not with this lens, because if you put this lens at 40 feet, and everybody's going to be teensy, and the curvature will be even more pronounced. But if you got a longer lens, I think I'm using that properly, not a shorter lens, so that your width of your zoom, or the width of the shot, was not as wide as this. You could probably pick up the entire stage in an auditorium, and then have enough resolution to have a decent zoom down to individual people. Anyway, it's going to be interesting to play with. vMix has read the tea leaves on this one and is out ahead of this 4K region of interest, and will mean that within vMix, this becomes just, it becomes easy peasy standard stuff. Today, Tom's asking what vMix I'm using. I'm using vMix, the latest vMix version, 21.0.0.58, or maybe 5.9. There were a couple of updates, real minor updates that have come out in the last week or 10 days. Martin Sinclair, my cuz, just to let you know, I'm connected to the main guy in vMix. He and I are cousins. We don't know what cousins, but how many Sinclairs are there in the world? I mean, really. Anyway, so cuz has already figured out this is going to be something people are interested in. We'll put it in vMix. We'll make it ready to go. And as these cameras roll out, 4K and then 8K, You know, is there a vMix 8K version coming out in the future? And by the way, Tom, this is the vMix 21, the Pro edition, the $1,200 edition that I'm using now. And why am I using the Pro edition? I guess because I can. Anyway, let's go back here. Let's see if we can make that one. There we go. All right, good. And then again, for comparison, this is the PTZ optics shot right here. And there you go. One of the things that I was worried about as I was planning this was whether the NDI was going to cause a lip sync issue. If there was enough latency in the NDI, and again, remember it's a 4K NDI coming from one PC over a gigabit network to another low-powered PC, and then being scrambled and sent over the network via NDI to a third PC to be live streamed and recorded. And number one, was there going to be too much latency in all of that to throw my lips out of sync? And I haven't heard anybody that said that. Let's do a little clap test and let's see how we did, because I haven't adjusted the delay on the audio. The audio on this shot and the audio on this shot, oh, that is the same shot. Sorry about that. Let's go there then. The audio on this shot and the audio on this shot is the same audio. And I'm looking at both these guys. The PTZ camera is on my left. The AIDA 4K camera is on my right as preview and output right there. And I don't see any difference in the two of them. Now, I may not be synced up well here, so it may be that what you're seeing is out of sync. But there we go, back again. We'll try it here. I mean, but these are the same two. Now, I do notice, so far as the quality of the image is concerned, that I have a little bit more color in this shot than I do in this shot. And part of that is because I've spent a lot of time with the PTZ optics camera getting it dialed in for what I thought was a good looking shot for me. Now, I've still got a little glow up here. Because actually my wife Sandy went and got me some makeup, and I was going to try that for today's show, but you know, you can't do everything. So there you go. But there's not as much. Which one is this? This is the PTZ optics cam. I like the coloration in this one a little better than I do in this one. I need to work with the color in this. And again, I'm not doing it. It's not like there was somebody over there on the other side of the room being able to use the vMix color correction to dial this in the way I wanted. I'm having to go and walk over there, make a change, come back and sit down here. You can imagine something like that would take forever. So what did we do there? Let's go back and see if, yeah, there we go. Sorry about that. We'll hit the wrong button. Okay, so Tommy sees no kitchen sink problems. That's good. That's great. Tommy says he's got the same fisheye effect with one of the security cams, but he zooms in a little bit and it's not as noticeable. And I think that's true. That's true. Okay, well, guys and gals, this is this is the AIDA UHD-100. We'll be adding it to our store before long. I think it's, don't quote me because I'm going to give you a price range. It's either $600 or $700. It's HDMI output. It is it's this big. You know, it's a maybe 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches by 2 inches, so it's a teeny little camera. You can hold it in the palm of your hand. It gets hot as blazes because the outside cover of the cam is the heat sink, just like the Magewell capture devices the outside box of those is a heat sink, which is why they get warm to the touch sometimes. Rich is asking about the zoom on the virtual shots. In vMix, I took the one that is in the box for the zoom, and I made that a 2. And when I did, and let's go back to that shot since you asked. This is the 1, and this is the 2. So the 2, a 2x zoom, essentially is a fourth of a 4K image. So we'll have to get used to all these measurements as we move and try to convert back and forth. But suffice to say that as what did we do here? 3, 4, there we go. As we're playing with all this, we'll go back that way because this is that shot that's amazing. It's anyway, I'll have to show you. I have to figure out a way to show you this one. Yeah, let's go back there. And so yeah, the math is, it's like mark up and mark down. It's amazing stuff. You'll have to wrap your math head around it. Michael Graves, let me get to some questions here. We'll do it in post-show. We want to wrap this up and keep this show a reasonable length, which we've already blown the length now. Thank you for bearing with me on this one. And we'll be right back. We didn't do the infomercial. Oh, golly. I'll do it quickly. Can't do the stinger because I'm just not set up to do the stinger because I messed everything. My audio. I killed my audio. Yeah, that's because I've got this cough button right here. And I must have, when I grabbed something, there we go. Push that sound button. That's right. You want it in a place where it's convenient to get to in case you have to cough, cough, cough. But apparently, when you when you hold it up and do those things with it, it screws it up. Here's the infomercial. The whole show is an infomercial from my company, EasternShoreBroadcasting.com. Ching, right there. Oops, right there. And we sell stuff. That's how we stay in business. We sell stuff. We sell X keys. We sell vMix. We build PCs that do fantastic live streaming. We built most of the PCs that vMix uses at NAB. So when you come to NAB, oh, golly, we forgot about NAB. April 9th, is that it? April 9th is the Tuesday at NAB? Yes, April 9th is Tuesday at NAB. That's the Streaming Idiots meetup. You'll want to pay attention to that. Make sure you stay over Tuesday night at NAB for the Streaming Idiots meetup. It's going to be an amazing party. Not a party, a business networking event. You can write it off. But we sell X keys. We sell Majorel capture cards and dongles. We sell Yuan capture cards and dongles. We sell PTZ optics cameras. We love our PTZ optics cameras. We've taken on the sports. My brain is just fried right now. I should have it all up. The Scorecast. Yes, the Scorecast devices that allow you to pull the scores from the controller at a venue and put it right into vMix. It's really, really cool. And I'm sure there's and AIDA cameras. We're now representing AIDA cameras. At least I think we are. I hope we are. We'll have to get some pricing and get all that stuff on the website. So that's the commercial part of the info part of the show that we forgot to do earlier. So there you go. And you probably know it by heart. In fact, you can probably do it better than I can. Let's move to post-show. I'll be right back. That was fun. And we are out. Okay. All right. So, questions about what we're doing here. Tommy says, can you do a giveaway contest, but the only people who are qualified to win are from East Central Alabama and have the last name of Willis? Actually, I forgot to tell you about the giveaway. It's not a giveaway, it's a contest. vMix 22, the beta that's coming out. We're going to have a contest to see who can pick the right date for the release of that beta. And if you pick the right date, and if you're the only one to pick that date, you will win. Drum roll. Do I have a drum roll on here? There we go. You will win. I can't hear it, but I know it was good. You will win a vMix 22 HD license, or the equivalent amount of credit to upgrade your vMix to any other edition you want. So it's a $350 package. You can win the license, or you can win that much credit towards upgrading your HD to the 4K, or upgrade the 4K to the Pro. You'd have to put some cash with that, but you get the idea. So I'll be putting that on the website and putting that in the Streaming Idiots group. If you're not a member of the Streaming Idiots group, you need to join. That's on Facebook. Just do a Facebook search for Streaming Idiots and join the group. We need your email address because we're holding you accountable for anything you say in there, so you need to play nice. But it's going to be fun. And if more than one person guesses the same day, then we'll just draw a name out of the hat to see who wins the prize. Now, you want to go back to the last two vMix Funtime live shows, because they've given some hints on when the beta will be released. And the last hint I got was, or the last hint we got was maybe by the end of the year. That's pretty nebulous. I have a feeling, and if you're going to be guessing, oh, and by the way, you can only guess once. You can only, if your name is entered more than once, we're going to throw them all out. But if your date goes by, you can guess another date in the future. So like if you guess tomorrow, you couldn't do that, because then you would be guessing each day. So no, you get one chance. You get one chance, and then you're done. Oh golly. I mean, it's just like a pool for like the March Madness, the NCAA college basketball, where they have, 66 teams, 65 teams, and if you can pick pick each pairing all the way through, you win $1 million or something like that. Well, here you just have to pick the date in Australia time that the vMix 22 beta is released. You will win a vMix 22 HD license when it becomes available, which will be NAB 2019, which is in April. And so there you go. So that's going to be fun. Pick your date. Don't email it to me. Don't put it in Streaming Idiots. I'll put a link to the website where you can enter, and then I'll put a list somewhere, somehow, of all the people that entered and what. And so if you just want to use your first name, that's okay. Or your last name, or your middle name, or your nickname, just so long as it's decent. All right. So let's see. Rich says, this is cool. Camera ops from the console instead of moving the camera. Exactly. And in the last vMix Funtime live show, Martin and Tim showed how a El Cheapo, boy, they got my attention when they started talking about that. An El Cheapo USB PTZ control, so not something fancy or expensive or branded even. It was an unbranded or no-name brand. That will control this virtual PTZ camera. And this would work for any camera, not just a 4K camera. I mean, it would work for a 1080p camera. It would work for an 8K camera. There you go. Chris says, can you do straight cuts instead of merges? No, not today, because I don't have a cut button I haven't programmed a cut button. I just have a merge button. Sorry about that. So, but basically it would just be one shot replaced with another shot like a normal cut. Let's see. Tom Eagle guesses December 25th. I would be guessing, Tom, that was a guaranteed losing guess. I don't think Martin is going to release a beta on Christmas Day. Even though it would be nice to have a Christmas present, I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to enjoy his Christmas holiday, as we will. Let's see. Rich says, Chris, any transition will work. Yeah, the transition, I mean, I can show you, I won't be in the shot, but I can show you what a cut looks like. So let's go, we'll do a merge to this one. And then we'll set up this shot as our second shot, and I'll show you what the cut looks like between the two. Now you're just going to see a green screen, but that's okay. That's all you're really seeing before. So nothing fancy there. Just a cut back and forth, as if it were two cameras. And again, I've just got this thing divided up into quadrants to illustrate what it would look like. So the math is a lot easier. That would be, again, four 1080p's equal one 4K. There's the math right there. Rich says, was a motor hum coming from you, Tom. Yeah, that's my electric leg. Yeah, no, it's traffic out there. We've got some more soundproofing to do. We talked about that on last week's show, Rich. If you would keep up, we would all appreciate that. I'm just teasing. Chris says, thanks, Tom. This would be helpful for my open mic nights I've been streaming. Ah, cool. Good idea. Good idea. Yep. I can hook you up with one of these babies, but let me play some more with this lens thing, and I want to take this out to a venue where I've got some more distance. I mean, that's going to be the key. The camera is a fixed lens, so there's no zooming with this lens. Whatever the lens is what the lens is. And so Tommy said that hum is Tom's nuclear reactor, which powers his vMix. Actually, it powers my internet, Tommy. There you go. So actually, I'm thinking about testing this camera next week. One of the local schools asked me to come help them live stream their big Christmas show. And so I may take this little cam. In fact, I'd like to get a longer throw lens to try. I'll work on that today or tomorrow. And see if that won't work from distance. Chris says, does it autofocus? It is, everything is in focus. Every part of the shot. We'll go here, and you can see everything over there is in focus. Everything in there is focus. You can see my hand. Is my hand in focus? Maybe that's the limit of it. Somewhere in there is the limit. But it depends on the lens. That's the key. These fixed focus lenses, they have a point at which they don't focus anymore. Let's see, Michael with PTZ 4K camera, like Logitech Rally, the PTZ is like having more zoom. The electronic PTZ is like having more zoom range. Yeah. Yep. And so you're trading resolution for zoom. And that's what this is doing. It's trading resolution for zoom. And this is the, I think this is a 2x zoom. So this is going to be 1/4. And as I move back to it, let's see right here, move back to it, you can see it probably added about 1/4 on either side. So if this is the edge right here, put this down for a second because I can see the shot and it's live. It's so cool. So this is the width of the shot right there. That's that, and then that's the top, that's the bottom. So that shot right there, and you imagine taking that and moving it up there, that becomes this shot right here. So you're just basically, it's a 2x zoom, so it ends up being 1/4 of the 4K. Let's see, question. Rich says stop. Tommy has been talking to his local school about starting a live streaming class. And the elementary school. Oh, Tommy, that's awesome. Well, we need to talk because the school I'm working on setting up a studio in another school. Got a bunch of gear that I'm going to start building here in the studio later this week, and it's for a intermediate school, which I think is 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. So it'll be interesting to see. Tom says, did you show how the virtual PTZ is set up? No, I didn't, Tom. But I can tell you real basically. In vMix, I added an input, and the input was this camera at its full 4K resolution. And then you can create a copy of an input by right-clicking on the little gear icon in the bottom right-hand corner of the input. That's the settings icon. If you right-click that, it brings up a teeny little menu that says Create Virtual Input. So if you click that, all of a sudden you have another input that is a carbon copy of the first one. It brings with it any multi-views, any triggers. It brings the whole thing. So it's a great way to make a copy of something, especially if you got some really funky triggers going on in it. In this case, it was a simple input. There wasn't anything fancy with it. And so I had my original, then I have my created one, my clone, my virtual input. I went into the settings in that, and that's when I used the position tab to change the zoom to a 2x from a 1x. And I could have used the slider, but it's much easier for me just to put the number in and go from 1 to 2. And then I took that, because what it did is it blew it up to this image right here, and then I just took it and moved it so that I was in the top left-hand corner, the top right-hand corner, etc., etc. So it wasn't very hard. But my guess will be that the virtual PTZ control in vMix 22 will be different. It will allow you to do what I did with a drag and drop one time. It will allow you to do all that live. So you can zoom into anything. You can move it as if it were a PTZ camera that you could control like that. Have I tried 720 resolution? You know, I haven't. I think 720, would that be a 3x zoom? Or we'll have to work out the math on that one. Maybe it's a 2.5x or a 2.67x or something like that. But that would obviously give you a lot more options and a lot greater zoom. Rich says, did you say that PTZ Optics is coming out with a 4K PTZ? I think that part of the chat has scrolled off here and I can't roll back up to it. But I think what Michael was talking about was the Logitech 4K PTZ camera, the USB camera that Logitech has made that is 4K and PTZ. I don't know of a PTZ Optics camera with 4K. Tommy says you can have a package which includes the 4K camera. Tommy, what kind of package are you thinking about? You know, a vMix license and a 4K camera? Well, you know, here might be a good package because a lot of people have had their vMix licenses for more than a year, 2017 or older, and those people will not get a free upgrade to vMix 22. Anybody that bought their license or renewed their license in 2018 will get a free upgrade to vMix 22, but if your license is 2017 or older, you will have to pay the whopping sum of $60. So yeah, we may do a 4K camera and get a free vMix 22 upgrade. Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you, Tommy. Michael Graves says the zoom equals 3. That would be for the 720. Well, there's the answer. We'll have to play with that, and we can do that. I'll move over to the control room section in just a second, and see if we can find out. Chris says regarding fixed focus, if you put it in a big space and the talent was a long way away, would they still be in focus? I think so, Chris. I think so, but I think you would want a different lens than this fisheye, because the further things get away, the more the fisheye effect kind of takes over. I think you would want a lens that's flat on the front. Tommy said, I forgot you custom make a package for each customer. Well, we can do that. I mean, but tell me what you're interested in, and my guess is other people would be interested in it too. Rich says, is it possible to use joystick pan and zoom for a 4K shot in an active shot? Yes. With the new vMix 22 virtual PTZ control, yes. Is it possible to do that now with the merge function? No. I mean, I guess you could set up like the X keys. They have a joystick version of the X. I think it's the XK68 joystick, which is this same format, but with a joystick in the center of it. And so you could program the joystick functions to give you a merge from one shot to another shot. So if I had, let's just go here for a second, and I could program a joystick function that would do this. And then I could program another joystick function that would do, let's see, where is the number right there? It would do that. And then another one that would do that. And And so it would be a little cumbersome. Frankly, I'd rather wait until vMix 22 comes out and just get a cheap joystick and be able to do it directly. If I understood your question correctly, that is. All right, Scott says, if you do a bad pan or zoom, would you be using a sad stick? Oh my gosh. He has been just moving right along. Tommy says those dad blame X keys can do anything. Well, they just about can. And it's only, I think it's really limited by your imagination. And one key and an X key, like this one right here, this is my main shot. And so basically between that and triggers, I can have anything happen. The X key can initiate the shortcut or shortcuts. One of the shortcuts that this particular button does, I mean, it looks like it just does this, but really the first thing it does is it turns off any other overlay that's already on. That's a shortcut. And then it cuts to this particular input, and then the trigger does this stuff down there, and then there's a duration. And then after a certain period of time, the trigger makes the other stuff go away. So there you go. Michael Graves, PTZ control does not equal motion control. Can anyone recommend a motion controller? Define motion control. I don't know what a motion controller is. Kelvin says, welcome. Set the merge to use the T-bar, then you have manual control over the timing of the slide. There you go. That's good. Is that, are you working with that one in theory, or have you actually done it? Because there's lots of things that work in theory. I've got several perpetual motion machines that I've invented. Yeah, right. Good question, though. I don't have a T-bar here, so I can't test that. But if somebody's got a T-bar and can test it, that would be really cool. That would be cool. All right. Coming up next week, next Wednesday, I'm not sure what the Streaming Idiot show will be. We'll have to work on that one. But yeah, Kelvin says it's theory for now. But I will be on the PTZ Optics show that will come on right before Streaming Idiots. So we may see if we can pull some of those folks over for the Streaming Idiots show. That would be fun. Michael says motion control equal slow tracking shot with control of smooth acceleration, deceleration. That's, a PTZ controller could do that if it had various speeds built into the controller. So if this is 0 and this is 10, then it would have 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And so you could slow down and speed up and slow down and speed up the controller as you made it go different ways. I know the X keys, XK68 joystick has, I think, 3 different speeds that are programmable, actually. So you could set up a speed of 1, 2, and 3, even though you may have a max speed of 5. Or you could set up a 2, 4, and 5, or some combination like that. Tommy, goodness gracious. I got to come up that way one day, Tommy. We're going to have lunch or breakfast. Yeah. We'll do something together. Well, the one thing that I miss on this current setup, normally I have the vMix clock and timer as one of my inputs here, and so I don't have that. So I don't know what time it is. How are we doing time-wise? Have we blown through our day already? What I need is a big clock here in the studio. That would be that would be handy too. That would be handy too. Well, good things on the horizon for live streaming world. It's an exciting part of exciting to be in this, and it's interesting. I was thinking about this the other day. For somebody that's now making my living in the live streaming world, obviously nobody pays me to do this show except me. But we survive based on the products that we sell and the services that we sell. We sell training as well as consulting. And the stock market, as you know, here in the U.S. is going up and down like a yo-yo. The 2018 has not been a great year for the stock market. 2017 was wonderful. 2018 is up and down and up and down and up and down. But it is, thank you, Dan. Loved having you. We'll talk soon. But I think live streaming is going to be resistant to, at least at the level that most of us are working on. Thank you, Tom. Tom just gave me the time. Of course, he didn't tell me what time zone that was, but I think it's the same time zone I'm in, which is Central Time, by the way. If that's Eastern Time, then the show's only been going on for 12 minutes. I think live streaming is going to be a fairly recession-proof industry because it will be a bailout position for a lot of people that were doing things with $1 million equipment or $100,000 equipment or tens of thousands of dollars worth of equipment that can now do it with thousands of dollars worth of equipment. And so, the scale is going to come down in terms of the bulk of the hardware because it's going to be so much software now. And people that are positioned that know a lot about live streaming are going to become more and more valuable as companies try to cut costs. And so they bail out from expensive broadcast to less expensive. I mean, we've already seen ESPN do the same thing in the last 2 or 3 years, where they've dumped a lot of their teams, and they're subcontracting. And I know they did a lot of subcontracting before, but they're subcontracting with folks that are coming from the live streaming world, not the traditional broadcasting world. And so I think that's going to be more and more prevalent as we see more and more companies like ESPN and even the networks NBC, CBS, ABC, Fox start beginning to live stream a lot of events, as well as put them on traditional broadcast channels. Anyway, that's going to be one of my predictions. You don't want to miss our prediction show coming up at the end of the year. What is the 25th is a Tuesday, so that means the 31st is a Tuesday, right? Or is the, let's see, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st. No, the 1st is a Tuesday. January 1st is a Tuesday. So we may do our prediction show the Wednesday after Christmas, because that'll be the last Streaming Idiot show for the year 2018. Okay, you don't care about that. That's all right. We'll work on that. But one thing I will say about the predictions, you don't want to bet on any of the predictions that I do, because my predictions are typically way, way, way off base. I predicted 2 years ago that Facebook Live would be a humiliating defeat for Facebook, and it's been huge. And I actually am a user and lover of Facebook Live now. Excuse me. And I've predicted some other things that have yet to come true or not come true, as the case may be. We'll see. But don't pay attention to me. It's purely for entertainment purposes. That's right, purely for entertainment purposes. Well, unless you guys have some pressing business, wake up, wake up. I will see you next week. If you need me, you know how to reach me. Tom at easternshorebroadcasting.com, or you can go to Eastern Shore Broadcasting. Oh, where'd it go? It's not there. Oh, well, there we go. easternshorebroadcasting.com. There's a contact page there where you can send me a note, and I'll be happy to respond. So, on behalf of all our staff here at Eastern Shore Broadcasting, stay warm, stay dry. If you're down in Australia, stay cool. And we will see you again next week. We'll let the stream run out for a little bit, and that way you don't get cut right away. But we will see you later. Bye.